Cameras rolled, the lights shimmered over Kelly Clarkson's stage, and the audience was already buzzing. Kelly walked out with her trademark energy, microphone in hand, introducing one of country music's brightest stars, the man behind countless #1 hits, Keith Urban. The crowd erupted in cheers as Keith strode on stage, guitar slung casually over his shoulder. At first, the mood was warm, hugs, laughter, and a few jokes about Kelly's competitive streak on The Voice. But as the conversation turned toward the state of country music, Keith's expression shifted. He leaned in and said, "The problem is half the people in this industry are more concerned with TikTok dances than actual music." Kelly's smile froze, and the tension in the room tightened instantly. Kelly laughed lightly, trying to steer things back to a friendly tone. "Well, you know me, I like both. Sometimes a little fun keeps things fresh." But Keith wasn't letting it slide. "Fun is fine, Kelly, but when record labels push young artists to make viral videos instead of good songs, we've lost the plot." The audience let out a collective "oh." Kelly's eyes narrowed just a bit. The kind of look that said, "Careful now." "So you're saying the new generation doesn't make good songs?" she asked. Keith replied, "I'm saying some of them don't even know how to play live without a backing track." Kelly, visibly irritated now, leaned forward. "You know, that sounds a little disrespectful. A lot of these young artists work their butts off. Just because they didn't come up in honky-tonks doesn't mean they're not real musicians." Keith smirked. "Real musicians can perform without auto-tune." The crowd gasped, and even the band in the corner exchanged awkward glances. Kelly's smile was gone now, replaced by a steely glare. "Keith, are you saying I can't sing? Without auto-tune?" she asked, half joking, half deadly serious. Keith shrugged. "You've got a great voice, Kelly, but you've also got producers who make sure you sound perfect every time. That's not the same as raw performance." Kelly crossed her arms. "Wow, coming from a guy whose biggest radio hit had more studio polish than a pop record? That's rich." The crowd let out a shocked laugh, and Keith's jaw tightened. "That song put me on the map, and I played every note of it," he shot back. The atmosphere was now pure friction. Kelly's producer could be seen waving at her from backstage, signaling to lighten the mood. But instead, Kelly decided to confront it head-on. "You know what, Keith? You've been in this business a long time. You should be lifting people up, not tearing them down." Keith leaned forward. "And you should be honest about what's happening to the art form. We both love." The audience was split, half applauding Keith's passion, half backing Kelly's defense of the new generation. Trying to regain control. Kelly changed the subject to Keith's latest album. But when she introduced a clip of his newest single, Keith shook his head. "Don't bother playing it. People can find it online if they care enough about the music instead of the drama." Kelly raised her eyebrows. "You mean like the drama you're making right now?" The audience laughed nervously, sensing the point of no return approaching. Then it happened. Keith set down his guitar and stood up. "You know what, Kelly? I didn't come here to have my words twisted. I came here to talk about music. If you'd rather argue about TikTok, I'll save us both the trouble." Kelly tried to interject. "Keith, wait," but he was already unclipping his microphone. "No, I think I'm done here," he said, walking toward the backstage exit. As the audience gasped, Kelly, visibly flustered, turned back to the audience. "Well, I guess that's one way to end an interview." The band started playing awkward filler music, but the energy in the room was chaos, people whispering, phones already out, capturing every second. Keith disappeared behind the curtain, shaking his head while a stagehand quickly cleared his chair. Within minutes, clips of Keith walking off were everywhere on social media. Hashtags like #Keith vs Kelly, #Country Clash, and #StormOffSession began trending worldwide. Fans debated who was right, some accusing Keith of being a bitter traditionalist, others praising him for speaking truth about the industry. Kelly's team posted a short message saying, "We love Keith and respect his passion for music." But it didn't stop the online firestorm. By the next morning, talk shows and entertainment blogs were dissecting every moment of the confrontation. Keith tweeted, "I'll always stand up for real music, even if it makes people uncomfortable." Kelly responded hours later with, "We can love music and still adapt to the times. That's how it survives. Rumors began swirling that Keith's team was in talks to release a tell-all interview about what really happened backstage, meaning the storm was far from over. The second Keith disappeared behind the curtain. The live cameras cut, but studio cameras backstage kept rolling. He tore off his earpiece and handed it to a stunned crew member. "I'm not here to be ambushed," he muttered. Kelly's voice could still be faintly heard from the stage, making a quick joke to cover the walk-off, but Keith wasn't laughing. A producer rushed up to him saying, "Keith, please, just cool down, we can reset." Keith shook his head. "I'm not cooling down. I've been in this business for 30 years. I'm not going to smile and nod while someone tells me to. Celebrate Lipson Singa." Minute later, Kelly herself walked backstage during the commercial break. She was still smiling for the cameras moments earlier, but now her expression was tight. "Keith, seriously, you walked out on my show." Keith spun around. "I walked out because you wanted a puff piece, not a real conversation." Kelly shot back, "It's a daytime talk show, Keith. People tune in for fun, not lectures." The tension was electric. Crew members glanced at each other nervously, unsure whether to step in or stay out of it. Keith's voice rose. "You think fun means pretending everything's fine, while the industry sells its soul to algorithms." Kelly stepped closer. "And you think insulting young artists on national TV helps fix it? You just made yourself look like the bitter, old guy who can't handle change." Keith laughed bitterly. "Better that than being the smiling face of the sellout era." A gasp came from someone nearby, a camera operator who had been quietly filming the entire exchange on their phone. The argument escalated when a senior producer intervened. "Okay, we're done here, Keith. We'll handle the PR spin. Kelly, we need you back on set." Kelly glanced at Keith one last time and said, "I hope the next time you talk about real music, you remember you just walked away from a stage full of people who came to hear you." Keith replied coldly, "I'll play for the ones who actually listen." The leaked phone video began circulating that evening, grainy but explosive. You could clearly see Keith and Kelly inches from each other, voices sharp and tense, with Kelly's bitter old guy line and Keith's sellout era jab catching fire instantly. TikTok edits spread the clip with dramatic music overlays, racking up millions of views within hours. The hashtags #backstage, blow up, and #bitteroldguy shot into trending lists. The public reaction was intense. Country music forums lit up with debates, some accusing Kelly of disrespecting a legend, others praising her for defending younger artists. Meanwhile, industry insiders began whispering that this was just the latest in a long string of feuds. Keith had kept under wraps. An anonymous Nashville producer told one blog, "Keith's been frustrated for years. Kelly just happened to be the one who got it on camera." Kelly addressed the situation the next day on her show. Sitting in front of the audience, she said, "I respect Keith as an artist, but we disagreed. That's life." The audience applauded, but it was clear from her tight smile that the wound hadn't healed. Keith, for his part, posted on Instagram, "Music is meant to be played, not packaged." The caption alone reignited the firestorm, * several talk shows, invited both of them for follow-up interviews, but Keith declined, telling one radio host, "I've said my piece. People can watch the clip and decide for themselves." Kelly, however, appeared on a morning news program, where she hinted there was more to the story. "Let's just say what you saw on TV was the nice version," that cryptic remark sent fans into speculation overdrive. Behind the scenes, CBS reportedly considered editing Keith's walk-off out of the online replay of the episode, but the leaked backstage footage made that impossible. In fact, the viral clip now had more views than any official upload from the Kelly Clarkson show that month. Brands began distancing themselves from the drama, while country music radio stations started running Keith verses. Kelly call-in polls for listeners. * by week's end. Keith announced he'd be doing a sit-down interview with a popular independent YouTube channel to tell the uncut truth about the feud. Kelly's team immediately hinted she might do the same. Fans braced themselves for a full-blown media war, and the internet knew one thing for sure: this wasn't over. In fact, the real battle was only just beginning.